All right. I'm gonna go to the grocery store. What else on the grocery list today? We already got papyrus, bean for chili, only one, hammer, warm milk, curry, some bird meat, 3 No. 2 drywall screws. Kind of odd, but you know, all right. Red, got lots of red, abacus, yarmulke, we have facts, plenty of history. Second period science, struggled to get, but I got that. Oh, all we have left is beer, pineapple for pizza, banana stickers, and chain creams. Dude, I can put all that on a bike. Sick. Take the little 600.
You can't take that.
Why not?
It's gross.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. Ugh. What should I take instead?
You know which one.
All right. Today, we are going to install the Anteris kit for your VT600, aka the VLX, also known as the Glorious Steed. You will find this job takes approximately 6 beers on the beer meter. Now, I encourage you to get a high quality beer. Oftentimes, this may require more beers if you have more friends helping you. So, cheers to you all for embarking on this adventure. That's some good shit. Tools you're gonna need to accomplish this project are as follows. Wood. More wood, tape, flexi head ratchets. I prefer these because they are really easy to manipulate and get into the spots you need to. A few 3/8 drive extensions. Now again, these are 3/8 drive flexi head ratchets. 14mm and 17mm combination wrench, or open end box wrench, whatever you want to call them. We have a 17mm socket, a 14mm socket, a 9/16 combination wrench, open end ratcheting, a 9/16 socket. We have a auto center punch. We have a deburring tool. We have a 3/8 transfer punch, a marker to draw wieners on things and write Slayer on people's doors, a hammer, a 5/16 Allen key, a step bit, a deburring or chamfer bit, a pilot hole bit, that's a drill bit, and then a 5/16 drill bit, followed by a T-handle tap wrench with a 3/8/16 tap, and last but not least, a power drill. Also, 525/120 chain. You may want 1 or 2 links depending on your personal need. Also, if you can tell me what the fuck this thing is, you get a free shirt and a hat. All right, I'm gonna share a little skateboarding tip and trick with you guys here. Has nothing to do with skateboarding, but I grew up watching 411 VM, so that's really stuck with me. Now, you have a little nut here, right? And you want to install it somewhere where you can't get your fingers in there far enough, or a magnet won't work. Get your wrench you're gonna use and the nut. You're gonna take a little bit of tape. Painter's tape, duct tape, whatever you have that's handy should work. It's just gotta be sticky. So you're gonna take a little bit of this tape, put it on the wrench like so. Doesn't need to be pretty or nice. And then you're gonna take the nut, set it in the wrench. Now, this won't come out. You can get underneath in weird little spots and put it on something, get it underneath something. You can also do this with the other end of the wrench, but really easy way to get a nut started somewhere that you can't get to, especially if all you have are deep wall sockets or the socket is just too deep and it won't actually catch the first threads of whatever fastener you're trying to attach your nut to. Cheers. Now, if you're looking for some more detailed videos of how to install these individual components, we do have several videos that might help you out. We have a video for our mono strut, for the Pressio kit, the curb bobber fender, and the straight up sissy bar. And you can check those out on our YouTube channel, TJ Brutal Customs. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like, seriously, it should help us a lot. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop us a comment in the comment section and fight amongst yourselves. So I have some fancy tools here in the shop that you guys most likely don't have. So I'm gonna show you what I did today to try and reverse engineer what I do in the shop so you guys at home can do it easily. So I have this magnetic rule. It's got centimeters and inches and all that on it, but you guys probably don't have that. What you do have is probably a tape measure. For this part of installing your Anteris kit, installing the fender to the Pressio kit, you have to do a few things. One, you wanna find the center line of your fender. You can do this 1 of 2 ways. You can measure it, or you can use the seam on the bottom. Got a little seam going on there. You can mark it here, right in between with a marker, and transfer that up the back of the fender itself. So that will give you basically your center line. That's the center of the fender. These fenders are 9.5 inches across the fender. So from your center line, you're gonna end up making 2 holes, 2¼ inches from this center. Again, you may not have this handy little guy that does this number, makes your life easy. Have a ruler. You may also have tape So if you have ruler and a tape, this is easy to do. Put your ruler up next to the tape and you can mark out inches. There's your halves. This doesn't have to be insanely accurate either. And you've got quarters, right? All right, we'll stop there. So you got your center line, take your tape, and set it down here for now. It's tape, so it does stick to itself sometimes. Take your tape measure and measure 1/2 inch about up from the bottom edge. That's where you're gonna center punch to start your hole. You take that, first get your tape laid down, right there. It's pretty easy. So now you look at this and you have 1 from the center, 1, 2, there's your quarter. So if you want to know where to drop the hole, drop your center punch, take this guy, go about 1/2 inch up, and that's where you're going to put your hole. So you're going to mark that. I have a auto center punch, which is super nice. It's by Renstig. There's a million center punches out there. This is the only one I will ever use the rest of my life. This thing is so nice. Super high quality. I've been using it for probably 10 years, and this is what it looks like. Quality tools, guys. So we'll mark our holes. 2 1/4, 2 1/4. Beautimus. So easy way to measure things that are on uneven surfaces, round, curved stuff. You're trying to measure stuff on a tank. You want to do something weird. You want to get funky with your, booger thrower welding machine and a cutoff wheel. There you go, guys. Now we're going to take our fender and drill some holes in it. All right, so to install the Pressio kit to the fender, you're going to need a power drill. Cordless preferred. Corded drill will most likely snap your wrist off in this situation. A simple block of wood, not necessary. You may be able to use the corner of your bench a little more advantageously, but I'm using this for our purposes today. A deburring tool. You can find these at your local Harbor Freight, Home Depot. They're pretty common. There's all kinds of them, but if you're gonna start doing stuff on your bike, modifying things, deburring tool is a really great tool to have. I have a step bit here. This is a mag bit step bit, and it allows you to gradually drill larger and larger holes in sheet metal. You don't have to have that, but it's what I prefer to do this job with. If you are going to bypass this, get a 25/64 drill bit, just over 3/8 of an inch. Then you're gonna get a countersink. You don't necessarily have to have the countersink if you have a deburring tool, but this does make your job easier. They're a few bucks, they're not expensive. Last but not least, I have a tiny little pilot drill bit, and that's to get the hole started. So let's go. So you're gonna take your little block of wood here. One hole done. You can see why I like the little block of 4x4, whatever the fuck this thing is. Makes it real easy. So now you've got 2 little pilot holes. You're gonna bust out that step bit. Now before you go too far, get one of your bolts. Make sure the bolt fits. Other side, same story. Now what I do at this point, step bit comes off, countersink goes in the drill, and you can roll this around. Takes off all those burrs, top and bottom. Now you don't want to go crazy with this, because this is still a blade. It's still cutting the metal. It's gonna open that hole up if you keep just blowing it through. Now, it's not gonna hurt our fingies, and we've got 2 holes in our fender. Let's get back to the bike. We're gonna show you how to install the Pressio kit. It's impressive, that's why it's called the Pressio kit. Actually, I forget what the Latin meaning was, but it had some really cool meaning behind it. If you put that in Google, you may actually find what it means. Without further ado, we're gonna install a Pressio kit. Now to start this installation, you're gonna need, what is it? Ben?
Tools.
Yep, that's right. Don't be a fool, wrap your tool. What you can see here, this is the 525/120 chain off of a 600. I use these for spacing off the tire because it's a little over 1/2 inch and allows me to line the fender up real nicely with the mono strut. I just use some zip ties here to hold it down, hold it in place. Pretty basic setup. The next step here is gonna be to remove the bolt on the mono strut. It's the stock bolt. If you've actually installed a mono strut, the stock bolt will be in there. You're gonna need a 17mm and a 14mm socket. I prefer these flexi heads because as you see over the top, there's not a whole lot of room to get in there. They're a little bit recessed. It can make your life difficult. This is the easiest way I've found. You don't have to have these. I have them because it makes my life easier. You can use very simple tools or a combination wrench, whatever have you. Please, please, for the love of God, don't use vice grips. Vice grips are not really what you want to use anywhere on this bike. We're gonna go to the back side of our mono strut here. If you installed this using the stock hardware, you will have a 17mm nut on one side and a 14mm bolt on the other. So I'm just gonna put my hand up underneath the skirt here, unlock this head, and we'll break this free. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is get a flat jack or a scissor jack underneath the bike, right about where the oil filler cap is. And the point of doing that is so you can lift the forward frame loop up enough to take the pressure off of the rear bolt on the mono strut or mono shock. This is gonna allow you to push the bolt out without any resistance. Slides right in and out. And I know a lot of you guys in the videos are like, oh cool, thanks for telling me how to do it with that fancy tool that I don't have. So I'm gonna try my videos to A, tell you to stop being poor, 2, to how to do things with the tools I'm using, and some alternatives. So if you don't have a flat jack, we have them available on shoptjbc.com. Pick them up there. You can also tip the bike over on the kickstand, get a jack up underneath this side, and go up until you take pressure off of this. If you're feeling your oats, you can always do a real nice deep squat. Remember, sumo squats are not real squats. Do a sumo squat, I'm gonna tell on you. You can squat down, lift it up, and take the pressure off, have a buddy help you out with that. But I prefer to use a flat jack, much easier. So now we can take this bolt out, boom, super easy. And we're gonna take our Pressio kit here, ta-da! You guys get to see all the random tools on the bench. This is like the real shit. This is how we do things. This is how you take your bike to Chopper Town. So you've got your brackets here, there's a left and a right, they are directional. On some parts that we ship to you, you may see a little bit of flash rust here, surface rust. That's because these are raw steel. Now they are tumbled, that softens the finish, makes them look really nice, takes off all the laser scale. This is something that you probably want to paint, but we leave that up to you. So this maintains an affordable part, but also something you can customize and have fun with. So we're gonna get this, we're gonna take our 2 spacers, aluminum spacers here. We're gonna take this long bolt and one of our lock nuts. So remember we have a little bit of flash rust on here. I'm just gonna take a simple little hand pad and do that. You can see it comes right off. This isn't something that a lot of people are really gonna see a whole lot of, especially if you throw some fucking rattle can on there. Nothing wrong with go down to Home Depot, get some Rust-Oleum and blast these fuckers. So rust never sleeps, kids, don't forget that. So you can take your long bolt that comes in the Pressio kit and the right side bracket, put a spacer in here. You can drop it down here. Excuse me, wrong way. There we go. Slide it around and it's gonna go in that little hole. Get the left side bracket and a spacer. Spacer goes on first, like so. That slides on there. Get your nylock nut. That's right, we include nylocks with our hardware because most people don't want to use Loctite or a locking agent. So we tried to think for you, kind of like the government, except less gay. Now, to tighten this, 9/16 socket and a 9/16 wrench. You don't need 2 sockets this time because if you look down here, you can see that the hardware protrudes enough for you to get tools in there. From the top at least. There we go. Let's tighten this bitch down. And we're not gonna tighten it all the way, just enough to put pressure on the brackets so we can kind of move them up and down, they don't flop. Kind of preload that bolt. There we go. Now, if I move it, it stays in place. Perfect. So if you look at the chain here, you can see I didn't just roll the chain down with the tire, I rolled it over the top of the forward loop of the swing arm, top loop of the swing arm. That's so that when I drop the fender down, it does have something to hold it. It's not gonna keep falling through. Some people tape it to the tire, but this is a really simple way to hold the fender in place on the tire when you're mounting it. So now we take our fender, set it up here. Boop, boop. So now you're gonna get one of the bolts, and this is a 9/16 bolts and a leather washer from your Pressio kit. You're gonna put the bolt through, put the leather washer between the fender and the bracket, and this takes a little bit of finagling. Make a note here, guys. See how these fender horns, the existing subframe for the fender really wasn't cut very far forward. I don't like this, but for the video's sake, I'm trying to do like stuff you guys don't have at home or maybe the way your bike is. I recommend cutting these a little farther forward. Like you can see these little electrical tab thingy, Chingus's here. these, I usually cut right up here. So you'll have more room to lift the fender forward and put these together without having to stick your hand back here, but this isn't totally impossible. Very doable, even if your the subframe, whatever, fender horns weren't cut off very far forward. So now you've got a bolt in one side, leather washer between the right side Pressio bracket and the fender. Tip it up a little bit, get one of the stainless washers included with the Pressio kit and one of the nylock nuts, and get that threaded in. So on the back side, you see I'm just threading that on there. Now you don't have to thread it on all the way because you still have the other side to do. See, you see what I mean? Like this is getting bound up here between the frame. That's why I cut that shit off. But we're gonna work with this for the video, just to show you guys it can be done. Again, 9/16 bolt with the leather washer. And then the stainless washer and nut. The ongoing debate is, are washers directional? And I believe some washers are, because you get a stainless washer and there's like a pretty side and kind of not pretty side. There's like a sharp edge and a soft edge. Washers are directional. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Okay, now what we can do is come in from underneath. I know you guys like that shit. Get the wrench on the nut inside and tighten down the bolt from the outside. Now, I like to go until we're starting to pull the two pieces together and then get to the other side. Alrighty, a little turny-do, a little tighter. All right, I'll come back to that side. I am not gonna crank these down. You're not gonna be absolutely ugga-dugga down to the max. I'm basically tightening this so it's not flopping. That's it. I can do this from this side. My monkey hands. All right, Dunsky. Now, this can move left, right a little bit to center it, but you basically have mounted your curb bobber fender. If you're gonna go with our short round fender, it's a good option because a short round fender's like this. It's just kind of a mud flap, not really meant for passengers. I mean, it's strong enough the passenger could sit on it if they were this big, But you're not gonna wanna use the short round fender if you're gonna try and use a sissy bar and carry passenger stuff. I just wanna make note to everybody. You're welcome to put these in bolts from the other side, not a problem. Depending on the tire you have, you may need to because the nylocks may be too tall and they may run into the profile of your tire. Also, depending on how old your chain is. If you have a really stretched out chain, it may not be an issue. If you got a brand new chain, brand new tire, you may need to flip those around. Regardless, you do need to keep that leather washer between the brackets here and the fender. That's gonna prevent cracking, stress cracks, and it's gonna prevent a lot of noise too. That's everything. I did it, it looks good. Sick, let's get this fucking sissy bar installed, bitches. Welcome to the fuck show. So you're gonna take this, set it right over the top of your fender, and stick that side right over the top of the axle plate, and on this side, you're gonna sit this bung about the same spot. Now I keep my hand up here, I'm gonna get down on my knees, assume the position. And I'm gonna move this bung to where the top of the bung lines up with the top of the axle plate and move it forward to just before the curvature of the top loop of the swing arm. You can see it kind of has like a bit of a bullet shape here. Penis, it's had a little curve right there. You don't wanna push this up on the curve. And if you take that camera and look straight down, you're gonna see if I push this up, it lifts that bung away from the axle plate. So you wanna go all the way forward till it just starts to go up. That's it. So you wanna make sure that bung is flat on the plate. Now I'm gonna take a transfer punch right here, 3/8 transfer punch, put it in that bung, and I'm going to tap it with a hammer. Easy. Take the sissy bar off. We have a nice hole made. Now I need to get my drill over there. Thank you, beautiful assistant. I'm gonna take a very small drill bit here, and I'm gonna drill a pilot hole. Now, before you just go drilling holes, you wanna get yourself a little piece of wood like that, okay? And you're gonna stick it between the axle plate and your brake. Because if you just slam through this thing, you're gonna go right into the backing plate of your drum brake here, and it just looks like ass. It's amateur hour. Simple prevention, easy to do. Now I'm going to reinforce that hole I made. I'm gonna double check it actually. Over the top. Take the wood out. All right, cool. Measure once, cut 17 times. That makes for a much more fun chopping experience. All right, so I'm just gonna make this hole a little deeper. Yep. And I'm gonna drill a hole. It's a beautiful hole. The method I'm gonna use today is drilling and tapping this little hole I made. Actually, it's got some burrs sticking out, and I'm not gonna use the drill bit. I'm gonna start with a step bit to get the hole going, and then chase with the 5/16 bit. You'd be asking yourself why I'm doing it this way, because you may not have realized this, but when I first got this bike in here, somebody had drilled holes already. Now, you might think, well, why didn't you just use those holes for the video? Because A, they were way off center, B, they were rusted, and C, I wanted to show you guys start to finish how to do this process. I actually had to weld them closed and cleaned them up so that we could do the whole process and you guys could see everything. Now I should be able to get the 5/16 in. Fingers crossed. That's a beautiful hole. Yeah, delicious. So the next step here is to get yourself a 3/8/16 tap. I'm going to add a little ass magic. As we all know, kids, the #1 rule in penetration is lube, and what's number 3? More lube, that's right. You guys are so sharp. Okay, let's get some threads going. Guys, be mindful that your brake is behind here. So if you're getting all happy with the tapping and it's just going great and you're like, yeah, let's make sure they're really clean, don't go too far. Like a glove. We have a nice threaded hole. I'm gonna get my compressed air. Oh, we got some right here. Bring this around the bike. Give it a little pss, pss. Oh, thank you. Huge help. Again, my assistant really coming in clutch. What would I do without him or her? I don't know. Here's another fun little tool. This is a manual chamfering tool. It's kind of like the one you can stick on your drill bit, but this one's you can use by hand to really control the depth of the cut. I'm gonna use this on here just to take out the burrs at the top of this threaded hole. Beautiful. Okay, this is getting really fun now, guys. You're gonna take your long cap head stainless bolt. Pro tip. When installing the straight up Sissy bar, the long bung at the base of the bar goes on the right side of the bike. Short bung is chain side. All right, let me go get my Allen wrenches. Now, if you're really going for that darkest, nastiest Chopper Town look, this is ideal. Today we're gonna go a little less ideal and we're gonna slide this puppy on up to about 90 degrees to the swing arm. If you guys ever sit down and look at chopper pictures online, I don't do that. It's just, never. Take note of the angle of the Sissy bar in relation to the backbone or the frame or swing arm. You'll find that some of the most visually pleasing bikes have 90-degree relation between the Sissy bar and the swing arm. Just did something interesting. Take a look. So now I'm gonna take this guy, this bolt, we're gonna tighten it up. So now the Sissy bar will kind of hold itself where, like, it'll hold itself up. If it's not quite staying up, you can give a little more goose on that bolt. So now we will move to the left side of the bike. And now for a word from our sponsors. At TJ Brutal Customs, we believe in creating some of the finest parts this world has ever seen, made from absolutely pure mithril, mined from the Iron Mountains. We believe that making elvish products for hobbits out there is truly where the pride of our work lies. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe on this video. If you found it stupid or amazing, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you'd like to see us do other videos, tell us about that shit too, because we really don't care how your bike is broken, we just want to know how we can make more useless videos for you. Let's get back to it. Now coming to the left side of the bike, we have tightened down the bolt on the right side, the bung at the base of the Sissy bar, and we're gonna get this side set up. Basically move this, so it's still on the flat part of the axle plate, but it's not engaging with the bullet part of the casting. Right there, I'm gonna take my 3/8 transfer punch while holding the Sissy bar still, and tap or do ya. Now I can take the other side. We can loosen the bar over here. I'm actually gonna take it off all the way, just so it's not interfering with what I'm trying to do. There we go. Now we're gonna repeat the process that we did on the other side. Pilot hole first. There you go, nice divot. Get your wood. All right, let's drill some holes. Drilling holes to the place I belong. Now, notice I took the wood out. I used barely any pressure. I started the drill spinning, and then I pecked it into the burrs that were getting caught at the end on the back side of that hole. Actually, we're gonna go step it again just in case this side wants to grab again. Last magic. Stuff smells like ass. Get our wood back up here. Cool. Looks good. So now that we've drilled our hole, that's a 5/16 hole. We're gonna use a 3/8/16 tap. Put a little tap magic. There's magic in the air.
Tap magic dance.
Dance magic. Dude, as a kid, I was like, why can I see his wiener? I was like, what the fuck, bro? All right, so now we've tapped this bitch 5/16, and I'm gonna deburr the outside of it a little bit. Okay, where's that fucking sissy bar? All right, so we'll put this bolt back in. You guys, we almost have a sissy bar installed on this bike. It's only been 8 days. We've only filmed this for 8 days. The rest of the time, we're just sitting around telling fart and dick jokes and drinking and, you know, just not really doing a whole lot. When the mood strikes, we're like, yeah, let's make some videos. So here we are. Go ahead and give these people air. All right, now we're gonna get this bolt threaded in. Ooh la la, wee wee. There you go. You have a sissy bar. Now you can just do this, move it back and forth. So what I do at this point, I figure out where I want the sissy bar to end up. So, like I said, 90 is pretty nice. Beautiful. Now, you can take a scrap piece of metal, whatever you have. I have this, it's like a V tap guide. I'm gonna take this guy and wedge it underneath here to create pressure against the sissy bar tabs. Just a little farther forward, just a scotch. Cool. Now, take that transfer punch we've been using, 3/8, put it in the hole here, and tappy tap. Before you move on to the next thing, make sure you're still lined up nice. Other side, same deal. You don't need to hit it super hard. It's just gonna make a mark. You're gonna put a better mark there in a moment. So now we're gonna take this out. Again, you can use a piece of wood, you can use your friend's shoe, whatever you got laying around, just to wedge this and put pressure on it upward so it holds the sissy bar in place while you tap down those holes. So if you wanna double check your work after you've done the second side, take a peek. Well, that didn't help. So you may need to tighten down one side or the other. Keep sissy bar a little more solid. There you go. That looks good. Other side, we are on the mark. Now on to the next step. Okay, so now we can move the sissy bar like so. Oh yeah. Down, down, down. So now we've got our holes marked. I'm gonna take my auto center punch. The German one, ja. This side, same thing. Pilot hole time. And we're gonna bust out the piece of wood. All right, we're gonna drill a hole. Yeah, beautiful. Pieces of wood, pieces of wood. There we go. Now we're gonna come back to our step bit, Christmas tree bit, because it kind of looks like a little Christmas tree, it's cute. Is there a present under the Christmas tree? Yeah, fucking sick drill. All right, so now we're gonna open up this hole. Woo! Hot jambalaya. We're done with our wood, as most of you should be before you arrive at your workplace. We're gonna get our deburring tool, flip this up like the back of a really crappy old car. Do a little deburring action in there. Good to go. The top should be okay. So now we're gonna do one more thing backwards. We're gonna take the sissy bar off. Is that a sissy bar in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Doodle-doo-doo, doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo, doodle-doo, doody-doo-doo-doo, doodle-doo-doody-doo. Set the sissy bar right on top of that fender, stick your bolt through, thread on one damn nuts. Truck nuts, the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, if you wanna get all fancy with this shit, you can get some brass hardware, you can get some cool stainless shit, you can really dress this shit up and have fun with it, but for today, we're just gonna use the standard equipment that's included with the kit. Again, we are turning to our trusty 9/16 socket on a flexi head ratchet and a ratcheting box wrench. So we come underneath here and we are going to tighten the shit out of this bitch. Just crank on it. Oh! I'm just kidding, don't do that. We're gonna go back to our Allen. And before I do this, we're gonna loosen these a little bit. So get a little bit of movement, line everything up. There we go. Final assembly on these, you're gonna wanna use some Loctite. I like this gel shit because it's not drippy, doesn't go everywhere. Put a little bit on your bolt and drive it into the axle plate. Now we'll come up top. There we go. Voila.
Da ist ein Fender, ja, ist very good. You have the Wiener Schnitzel und the Klimpen und the Goose, ja.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, dogs and cats, thank you for watching this video. You've just installed the Anteris kit from TJ Brutal Customs on your VT600, also known as a VLX. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, leave us a comment, really helps us out. If you have any questions or suggestions for videos, please drop that in the comments as well. Thank you very much for watching and do fun shit.